In the heart of the Roman Empire, where power was measured by the sharpness of one's sword and the cold weight of gold, there lived a young prince named Apali. He was the son of Prince Justus, a man of royal blood and grandson to King Numeranius, and the noble Princess Theoclia. Their lives were defined by the opulence of the imperial palace, a world of marble floors, silk robes, and absolute authority. Yet, behind the heavy velvet curtains of their private chambers, they harboured a secret that would ultimately reshape their destiny. They had turned their backs on the pagan idols of Rome to follow the quiet, transformative teachings of Christ.
Imagine, for a moment, that your life is a masterpiece of perfection. Every luxury is at your fingertips, and the world bows as you pass. Now imagine a single choice that would strip you of everything: your title, your inheritance, your safety, and your life. All for a truth that the rest of the world considers madness. Would you hold on to the golden cage of comfort, or would you step into the fire to be truly free? This was the crossroads faced by Apali. He stood at the summit of human privilege, yet he saw the empire for what it truly was: a fragile kingdom built on the shifting sands of vanity. He chose instead to anchor his soul to the eternal.
The peace of their secret faith was shattered by the iron-willed Emperor Diocletian, when he issued his infamous decree to purge the empire of Christians. He inadvertently turned the spotlight on his own court. Prince Justus, Theoclia, and young Apali could no longer remain in the shadows. They stood before the emperor, not as subjects, but as witnesses. They made their confession of faith with such calm resolve that it shook the throne itself. Diocletian, infuriated by their defiance and unwilling to execute royalty in the capital for fear of public unrest, devised a cruel strategy of isolation. He decided to scatter the family across the harsh landscapes of Egypt, believing that loneliness would extinguish their spirit. Justus was cast into the heat of Antinopolis. Theoclia was exiled to the misery of Sais, and the young Apali was sent to the city of Bubastis. Bubastis was a place of deep-rooted pagan tradition, and the governor there was a man who took pride in breaking the resolve of those who defied the state. He approached the boy prince with the cunning of a predator. At first he offered the world promises of renewed status, marriage to a high-born heiress, and a restoration of his family's immense wealth. When Apali replied with a soft, unwavering silence, the governor turned to the instruments of pain. Days turned into weeks. Apali was subjected to tortures that would have crippled an experienced soldier. Yet there was a strange, haunting quality to his resilience. Those who watched him were baffled, not by his screams, but by his serenity. He did not look like a prisoner. He looked like a king preparing for a banquet.
The prison cell in Bubastis transformed into an unlikely centre of revelation. Because the young prince refused to break, the people of the city began to gather outside his cell. They came to see the royal who had chosen the cross over the crown. Apali began to speak to them, not of politics or war, but of a love that transcends the grave, a kingdom that does not decay, and a dignity that no tyrant can strip away. His physical body was weakening, a vessel battered by the world's hatred, but his words carried the weight of something ancient and unassailable. Many who came to mock stayed to weep, and many who came to watch left as believers. He was turning his executioners into his congregation.
Realizing that the boy was winning the battle for the city's heart, the governor ordered the final act. On the day of his execution, Apali did not walk to the scaffold like a condemned man. He walked as if he were returning home. He knelt, offered a final prayer for his parents, and braced himself for the blow that would separate his spirit from the constraints of the earth. When the blade fell, the cycle of the Roman Empire continued. Triumphs, taxes, and scandals, but the story of the young prince who abandoned everything for the truth became etched into the marrow of the Coptic Church. His physical body was weakening, a vessel battered by the world's hatred, but his words carried the weight of something ancient and unassailable. Many who came to mock stayed to weep, and many who came to watch left as believers. He was turning his executioners into his congregation. Today, every 1st of Mesra, the memory of Saint Apali is honoured. His story is not just a relic of the past. It is a mirror held up to our own lives. We may not face executioners, but we all face pressures to compromise, to trade our convictions for social approval, or to hide our true selves to stay comfortable. Apali reminds us that you don't need a long life to leave a permanent mark. You only need a life that is fully committed to a principle greater than yourself. He traded a crown of gold for a crown of light, proving that the most powerful thing a person can possess is the courage to say no to the world, so they can say yes to their soul.